So evening, my lovelies. Just starting on your mat, lying down or seated, whatever your body needs this evening. And we'll just have a few minutes just to get settled onto our mat, into our bodies, and drawing that consciousness that often goes away throughout the day, just drawing that back to us. I found it quite fascinating to read. I think I've read this before, that actually most of our day, most of the time, we are functioning 95% unconsciously. And it's a very mere 5% where we are completely conscious in our day-to-day lives. It might not feel like that. You might feel like you're very conscious most of the time, but actually, when we do think about how much we do on automatic pilot, how the rhythm of our day is probably very similar to the day before, how we wake up, we get out on the same side of the bed, our bathroom routine is probably very similar each time, and then we go through the motions. So very unconscious, we can just not think about it, carry on and do what we're doing, and then the mind is free to be thinking of other things. So when we join each other on this mat, it's really lovely to perhaps allow this to be the 5% of our day that we're a little bit more conscious than normal. So as we take a few minutes here just to notice what tension and tightness and little aches and pains that we might be holding in our body and where we're holding it. Noticing if there's an emotion that's attached to it or a scenario that's happened earlier that just comes to mind when you think of some tension that you're holding. Being aware of our breath. It might be the first time today that we've actually followed a few inhalations and exhalations. And then also just having a moment to ground and connect with our Mother Earth. And just enjoying the space that we're taking up. Feeling safe and grounded and secure on this little spot that we're taking up on the earth. So perhaps you'd like to set an intention this evening, or think about a thought that you'd like to work through, then you can set this intention now. And then gently, in your own time, if you're lying down, just draw your knees in. Have a gentle rock. Again, as you roll on your back, exploring how your back feels against the mat. And if you're seated and you just want to roll the shoulders, maybe shift the head and explore what you feel. It's only when we do these little movements that perhaps we'll even notice a new sensation in our body. And then gently you can roll up to seated. So on the theme of being quite unconscious most of our day, we'll take 5 minutes of silence and just following our breath. And see how long we can actually stay connected with the thoughts that will naturally work through our mind and the sensations that we feel. So let's explore what 5 minutes of sitting with ourselves and being conscious feels like. Beginning to relax. Let the eyelids drop. Let the body soften. Maybe just take a nice deep breath. And then we'll just follow our breath and be curious of our mind. So keep looking through your body. Relax your arms and elbows. Nice gentle breaths. Stay with your breath. Notice your thoughts, just witness what's going through your mind. And then gently we'll just take one more breath together here. And blinking our eyes open, coming back. How many times did your mind wander off unconsciously? And then when you came back to the breath, perhaps, could you think of the thought that you had, or had it just disappeared like a puff of smoke? Often this happens when you think, what was I just thinking? And it's like a dream. You can't quite remember, maybe just fragments of it. Okay, lovelies, we're going to come into puppy. If you need something under your knees just to protect the knees, perhaps a soft blanket. Otherwise, we're going to come into this really lovely stretch here. Bringing the forehead down, just allowing the arms to be gently resting forwards. And it takes a little while just to get comfortable in this pose and allow the chest to drop and the shoulders and upper arms to soften. And trying to relax through your neck as well. And relaxing your feet and your calves and shins. And just aware of if your belly and abdomen feel tight, whether you can breathe deeply. If any pose tonight doesn't feel comfortable or it doesn't feel right, please come out. So as we settle here, noticing if you can soften a little bit more through your shoulders and upper arms. Keep relaxing as much as you can. Just checking in with your arms if they're comfortable. This is a lovely pose for your heart center. It's also called melting heart pose. And just keep gently relaxing your legs as well. And then when you're ready, we'll just take one more breath. Slowly coming up. Just noticing how it feels. Quite an intense pose sometimes, puppy, depending how you're feeling. So we only did about 3.5 minutes there. So finding your way back onto the mat. Oh, feeling that nice freedom and space through the arms. Okay, having a few breaths here. Relaxing through your lower back. What do you feel in the upper back between the shoulder blades? The tops of your arms, the inner parts of your arms. That pose will be stimulating your heart and your lung meridian, which run on the inner part of your arms, and the large and your small intestine that are the yang channels on the outside of your arms. Notice what feelings come up for you. If you can feel any chi moving. And then when you're ready, let's draw the knees in. A nice gentle rock. Okay, so we're going to come into possum. Now, possum is, I'm going to just turn to show you what it would look like if you have a wall to do it against. It is like thread the needle, where we have one foot around the opposite knee or the lower part of the thigh. And then depending on how you bend your left leg, you can intensify that sensation in the buttock. And if you loosen the leg, then it's less intense. Now, not everybody will have a wall, so we'll make it a little bit softer this evening and come into what we call reverse pigeon or thread the needle. So we'll start with the right foot on the left knee or just above the left knee. And if that's comfortable for you to just stay here and explore relaxing, then you can. If you want to just thread the hands behind the thigh, your left thigh, you can. This might not be as relaxing. If you have a bolster, you could put your left foot on the bolster and try and rest there. And as I say, if you have the option of taking your leg up against a wall, then that is always an option. So maybe this evening you'd just like to bring your foot back down to the mat, release any kind of hold on your thigh, and just let the right knee rest out to the side. That's far more restful. So just see where you want to be this evening. I've chosen the softer option. Because with any pose, whether it's quite challenging or quite an easy pose, there's still the challenge of relaxing all of your muscles, being connected to your breath, mindful of your thoughts. So nice, gentle abdominal breaths. Try and relax your calf muscles, your inner thighs. Notice if the buttocks are in any way slightly tense. And noticing your thoughts. Where was your thought just then? Just check in around your knees, whether there's a bit of tension in the muscles around your knees. Just keep looking through your body for anything else you can just let go a little bit more. And then gently we'll just take one more breath in this side of possum, or an adaptation of possum. And then just releasing your right leg. Find Shavasana, just to notice any sensation in your body. And doing that very gentle pose, you might find it's a nice sort of feeling of opening around the right hip and buttock, that side of the body. It doesn't have to be an intense pose to still feel a shift in our energy. So we'll draw our knees in just for a little hug before we come into the other side. As I say, you can, if you have a wall where you can take the leg up against, you can do. Or keeping the right foot on the mat. So bringing your left foot across, resting around the knee. If you want to explore bringing the leg away and holding around the leg, you can do. I don't think you'll be as relaxed here, but you can try it for a few breaths. Otherwise, joining me, just keeping that right foot on the floor and letting the left leg just rest here. There's still so much to still explore and relax. Just checking in with the inner thighs, calf muscle. Even your shoulders and buttocks and your lower back. Also just noticing your breath and your thoughts. Can you relax your left thigh anymore? Following your breath. Is it shallow or deep? And how does this pose feel today? Is it a nice feeling in the body? Keep looking through in case there's some tension in your thighs, calf muscles around your knees. And then we'll just take another breath here. And really gently just releasing our left leg now. Coming into Shavasana. Enjoying whatever you feel after that gentle pose. Noticing your breath, is it gentle and soft? So a lovely pose for the hips and the sacral energy of the body, that possum. And then when you're ready, let's draw our knees in, right one then left one, and a gentle rock. So we're going to come into bridge, supported bridge next. So rolling up just to grab your block and choosing where you want it to be, either on the highest level or turning it sideways and having it lower. Being honest with yourself, whether you want to have it on the top height or the lower height, and just exploring. So if you do bring it on the top height, or either level actually, just making sure you don't encroach on the lumbar vertebrae, and it's just on that lovely flat patch of the sacrum, almost in line with the top of the buttocks. And then when you come into this pose, just trying to keep the head straight and relaxing. If you've chosen the top height and it really doesn't feel right for you this evening, then please just alter your block. Or you can use a bolster which may be softer. Relaxing any clenching of the buttocks and thighs, and trying to soften the shoulders. You might find as you stay in this pose that the shoulders creep up towards the ears. And keep relaxing the legs and the shoulders. Nice pose for sacral, solar plexus, heart and throat. If your eyes are closed, you can still feel the gentle rise and fall of the belly. Keep relaxing the buttocks. Softening shoulders and upper back. Just aware if there's any tension in the upper chest as well. Enjoying the deep and slow belly breaths. And just being curious as to where your mind is. Are your thoughts repetitious, or are they new thoughts throughout your practice? So we'll just take one more breath here. Gently lifting yourself up, maybe coming onto toes, just sliding the block away and coming down. Nice and slowly. How does that feel? Really enjoying the after effects. So relaxing your arms, softening the face and your neck. And how do you feel? How do you feel about yourself when you lie here? After a few of these poses, very self-nurturing. And then we'll draw our knees in. Take a moment here where we've had the block. You can probably still feel the presence of sensation on your lower back. Just rocking, loosening up anything. And then we're going to come into hedgehog, which you will also know as happy baby. So turning the soles of your feet up to the ceiling. And then if you can reach the soles of your feet, then just resting the fingers here. If you can't, and it's easier just to hold the sort of above the ankles and the shin, and if that is too much, then you can also just rest your hands on the backs of your thighs, just behind the knees, and that is an alternative. So choose where it feels best. With the hands on the feet, you're going to feel that pull down of the leg. It may feel more intense. Perhaps this evening it's a little, perhaps more gentle to have the hands behind the thighs. And then you can rest the arms on the mat. So like a happy baby, sometimes it's quite nice just to sort of have a little rock maybe. And then finding stillness. quite intense around the hip flexors and hips, so don't hold this pose longer than you want to. And perhaps just try to focus on the breath, taking some deep belly breaths. Nice slow, long exhales. And just moving the hands if you want to. We won't hold this the full length of time. It is an intense pose. Wonderful for your sacral energy and your hips. That mobility of your hips. Just take 2 more breaths here. And then gently just draw the knees into your chest first, feeling that lovely release, and then lowering your legs down to the mat into Shavasana. So we just did about 3 minutes there, and that's sometimes just enough to feel the deep sensation from that pose without it being totally challenging. Nice deep breath. Where do you feel the after effects? Perhaps warmth or coldness, a lot of sort of buzzy feeling around the tops of the thighs, the pelvis, lower back perhaps. Really feeling that shift, very subtle shift of energy here. You might feel it on the tops of your thighs or inner thighs. Outer legs. And then we'll hug our knees in. So we're going to come into waterfall now, which is a nice restful pose. So if you've got your cushion, and maybe if you want a blanket over your feet, so raising the legs again, very different from hedgehog. And it's quite nice to pop a little blanket over your feet. Keep them warm and nice and cozy. And then just wedging a cushion under the buttocks. And this is a lovely restful pose. So even though the legs are in slightly different position, it's a really nice change of a posture. Gentle bend in the knees is comfortable. Allowing the chin just to rest inwards comfortably. If you close your eyes, you can draw your awareness to your third eye, Ajna chakra. Noticing what colours come to mind, or maybe conjuring up a indigo or purple. Gentle belly breaths. Relaxing your face. Just notice if your forehead is tight or the muscles around your eyes seem tight. Relaxing your chin and your jaw. And then maybe drawing your awareness to your breath and staying with the inhale and exhale. And you can say to yourself, I'm breathing in, I am breathing out. How do you feel? In this moment, are you content, happy, numb, or neutral, peaceful? It's quite nice to actually identify how we are feeling in the moment. So often in life we are triggered by the things that automatically trigger us, that are habitual and recurring through life. Our reactions are the display of feelings. So when we have the opportunity to be quiet and calm and actually really feel what we're feeling, it's precious time. So let's take one more breath and then we'll gently bend the knees, lower the feet down. Finding your way into Shavasana just for a moment. And just feel the after effects of waterfall before we come into relaxation. So where do you feel a bit more spacious in your body? Perhaps there's some space in the mind. And our thoughts are slower, quieter. We feel more in harmony and in tune with our body. There's a coherence. So gently, finding where you want to relax now, either seated or remaining lying down. If you're going to come up to seated, perhaps have a little rock, then rolling up. Get yourself lovely and warm and cosy. There's still a little chill in the air at the moment, I think. So you might want a few blankets or warm clothes. So getting yourself into a position where you can settle and relax through your body. Have a few moments just to adjust yourself and get the most comfy you can. And I've found a little piece to read to you, which left me wondering when I first read it a little while ago. So this is called The Saint Who Couldn't Practice What He Preached. And this is by Swami Kripalu. Once there was a rich man in India with only one son. The rich man grew old, and one day his son died. The old man cried so heavily that he couldn't stop. Relatives and friends came to his side and tried to console him, but nothing worked. He just kept crying and crying. Soon his friends started thinking that if we can't get him to stop crying, he'll die soon too. There was a great learned man living in the town, a saint, well respected by everyone. His words and presence were powerful. So several relatives of the old man went to the saint and asked for his help. Please help us, they said. Our dear relative is so distraught over the death of his son that he won't stop crying. Perhaps you could explain to him the nature of death and help him overcome his loss. Yes, I can do that, said the saint. He was very confident. I'll visit him and everything will be all right. When the saint approached the house of the rich man, he could hear the old man crying loudly inside. The saint knocked on the door. The rich man knew about the visit and opened the door, quietening down for a moment. He gave the saint a seat and then burst into tears again, wailing loudly in front of the saint. This death has occurred all by the will of God, the saint said sweetly. You must accept it. The soul of your son is eternal, undying. He lives still in soul form. This body is like a garment of clothes. Just as we change clothes, so we change our form at death. That's all. Your son is still alive, and you will see him again. The saint kept talking like this, very sweetly, explaining all the beautiful things from the Shastrasa and other scriptures. The businessman finally quietened down and stopped crying. 2 years went by. The businessman got over the death of his son and became busy with other activities in his old age. Then one day he happened to pass by the house of the saint again. There was a large crowd of people outside the door. What's going on here? The old man asked. What's wrong? Why are you all standing here looking so worried? Before anyone could answer, however, the old man heard someone crying loudly. He recognized the voice of the saint and realized the saint was crying uncontrollably about something. He was stunned. How could someone so learned and wise as this saint be crying so loudly over anything? So he went inside and found the saint wailing loudly in deep pain and sorrow. "Dear sir," he asked softly, "why are you crying like this?" "I've been suffering from tuberculosis now for 2 years," the saint replied. "A kind doctor advised me to drink goat's milk to help my condition. So I bought a goat and drank her milk each day. It was such a wonderful goat, and today she died." "You're crying over a dead goat?" the old man asked. "Old man," the saint said, "the wife who died was yours, but the goat was mine." A very curious story. How he could give advice, but not accept and practice what he preached. And another little line here by Lao Tzu. "Without laughter, there would be no Tao." Tao meaning the universe, the life force. So just a little tale to leave you with, and perhaps amuse you. So gently, as you just sit or lie here for a little while longer, notice your thoughts from that little story. There may be times in our life where we can give some lovely advice to our dear ones and friends, but it's really difficult to follow it or accept it ourselves. It's easier to be kind, perhaps, to others than our own self. Knowing what we should do or would be best, but not always having the dedication, the discipline or strength to listen to our own inner voice and inner advice. Just a part of being human. And just accepting sometimes the way we are. And maybe our advice we give others will one day resonate with ourselves. So gently, when you're ready, just beginning to move slowly, fingers, toes, rocking the head, maybe rolling the shoulders and having a nice big stretch now. Deep breath in and a lovely long sigh. And then if you're lying down, hugging knees in for a moment, rocking gently. And then finding your way up to seated. So, when you're ready, just bringing hands to heart center. Om Shanti. Namaste.